Hi everyone, Dave Pellowe here from Pellowe Talk, part of the Good Source network of channels. Listen, today I'm going to do something I probably should have done a week ago or even 2 weeks ago, and I apologize for not doing it sooner, but here it is now, better late than never. A third of Australians have already voted, but two-thirds of you are yet to cast your vote. And one of the things that's really important to do, and a lot of people don't do, most people don't do, is vote beneath the line on your Australian Senate ballot paper. That's a list of candidates for your entire state to send to the federal Senate. Uh, we're just going to have to mute that phone. Now, what's super important is that you don't do it the minimum effort. Now, that's the way the Greens just designed this ballot paper. They designed this system, and for years and years and years, they advocated a system to change what there was before and do it this current way, which has been in place since 2016 because of the prime minister we had to have, Malcolm Turnbull, who I don't know why, but agreed with a lot of things that the Greens have to say about all kinds of things from climate change and economy to the Senate ballot voting system. So that's all changed, and the rules, pretty commonly known now, is that you have to vote at least 6 above the line and at least 12 beneath the line. And that's what everybody is then trained to do instead of doing what you should do, and that is number every box. Let me repeat, the rules are not that you have to number every box. If you care, you should number every box because the Greens designed the minimums to suit them. Now, the way this works, I'm going to give you the quickest overview I can, and trust me, it's complicated. So if you don't get it, you're going to have to take my word for it that I've been talking to all these experts and research to know that the details are complicated and this is the truth. Number every box. So you have to get 1/6 of, or sorry, 1/7, a quota of the entire ballot, the entire vote to get a seat on the Senate. So in a local electorate in the lower house, you have to get 50% plus one vote, more than 50% of the votes. In the Senate for your state, you only need to get roughly 14.3%. And so there's going to be 6 people elected to the Senate who get at least 14.3%. That's 1/7 of the ballot of the total votes cast, which is also called a quota. Now, the first 5 people will get a full quota, and any excess votes from them will go to people beneath them or other parties or the other people on those preferences that you listed. So if you voted for somebody who's already got their quota, when your vote is counted, it will go to the next person on your preferences. Now, 6 above the line, 12 beneath the line is the minimum, and the Greens want you to do the minimum. In just a second, I'm going to show you how to number all 75 or 79 boxes easily. There's an easy way to do it. I've done it multiple times with my wife, my parents, just helping them choose their votes. But it's super easy. This is the way you can do it. And we voted last night, and it's just so much easier doing this way. But if you don't number every box, the chances that your preferences will flow all the way through to the 6th person elected or to be in that debate or conversation or count are very low because your vote will be exhausted. If you don't have any preferences after 6 boxes above the line or 12 boxes beneath the line, you're just not going to be there. And the 2 final people most likely to be elected are probably going to be the third person from the LNP or the coalition and the Greens. And if you're not in that conversation, you can't change the outcome. And so that's why you have to number every box. If you aren't in that conversation, the Greens have already got 10% without you, and they only need 14.3%. But that 6th spot is going to be given, thanks to the rule change, to the person with the most votes. And so if no Freedom candidate or major party candidate gets 10% or more than the Greens, then the worst possible outcome will be something that you helped by only numbering 6 or 12 boxes above or beneath the line. So let's have a look. That's enough for me. I'm going to make my camera real small now. We'll go full screen and have a look at this website, finder.com.au/senate-voting-card-creator. And of course, don't type dash. That's just where you put a hyphen in, which is just after the number 0 on your keyboard. For those people on the podcast, that URL, again, the website to type into your address bar in any internet browser is finder.com.au/Senate-voting-card-creator. Senate voting card creator with dashes between each word. Right, let's have a look at it. So I've just explained how that all works. And what they say here is, rather than having to search frantically for your candidates at the polling booth, make your life easier by using a tool to generate your own how to vote card and take it with you on the day. I used a screenshot of this. You can print it out when it's all finished on an A4 piece of paper if you prefer, and take it in. And you just copy the numbers from that printout or that screenshot on your phone, and you and then you copy that over, and it's really hard to lose count then, because you're just going through and copying it. It's so much easier to just get it right the first time. Remember, if you do make a mistake, have fun with this. Don't be stressed, don't be rushed, don't be pressured. Go back to the voting employees, the AEC employees, and say, hey, I made a mistake, can I please have a fresh ballot? They'll probably have told you this when you pick it up, but you just want to go vote, so you're not listening. But do take it back. Do it as many times as you need to get it right. But I tell you what, if you use this cheat sheet, then you will probably get it right the first time and be surprised at how simple it is. So the first thing we got to do is select the state you're in. Then you got to drag and drop the parties that you prefer. This is your first step, your rough ordering of them according to party. That's the groups above the line. And then you go to the next screen and rearrange them as you want. Very, very important. Then you just review it, make sure you like it, screenshot it, or print it off, and away we go. All right, let's have a look. I'm going to do this as quick as possible. And Queensland's where I know a few people. Now, guys, I'm going to give some opinions here, but I'm not telling you who to vote for. I don't want to tell you how to vote. I want to tell you how to use these tools to make it simpler. And if there's some information in here that helps you, fantastic. But I always stress, we'll have a better Australia if we've got a better government. We'll have a better government if we've got better voters. We'll have better voters if you think for yourself. All right, so we've clicked on Queensland. Choose, obviously, whatever state you're in. And then from here on, you're just watching the procedures. So personally, for me, in this election, I think we should change at every election depending on what the issues of the day are. I'm going to say Liberal Democrat, because they seem to be the most in favour. Going to throw our freedom parties up there first. One Nation was there. Drew Pavlow's not too bad in Queensland. UAP, Australian Federation Party, a bit immature, but got good policies. Australian Values Party, Great Australian Party, a lot of people like them. There's some non-affiliated groups. You hover over this, and I can see Steve Dixon and Rebecca Lloyd in there. Great people. I know both of them. Non-affiliated. Mike Head and John Davis, I don't know. Sustainable Party, legalised, non-affiliated. Now, I don't know Deborah Ewell, but I've heard some people that I trust say that she's great. So I'm going to throw them in there as well. Now, I'm just going to rearrange these the way I want. Pauline Hanson, that's pretty good. Drew, he's not actually conservative, so I'm going to put him down the bottom. Great that he opposes the CCP. Australian Federation Party, Australian Values, probably I'm going to go above them. Steve Dixon, former One Nation candidate, that's a former One Nation member, actually, former LNP and One Nation member, and really got humiliated over some past things, but there's redemption for everybody. Okay, let's say you like that. That's fine. We're not going to go into great detail here. Again, this is just a rough guide, not a who to vote for guide card. We're just going to drop those in. Now we want to basically put in the worst of the bunch. So we might put that other non-affiliated in. The LNP probably above them. I'd rather an LNP senator like Amanda Stoker than a bunch of people I don't know. IMOP, of course, should have put them in. We'll put them above Drew Pavlow. Another ungrouped bunch. Look, the Labor Party is probably better than most of these people that are left. Indigenous Party, Citizens Party. I've heard some good things about them, but I've also had some really bad personal experiences with them. Just rude and aggressive, some of their candidates. Federal ICAC now, terrible idea. Reason Australia, which is another name for the sex party. Legalize cannabis, probably not as bad as a bunch of prostitutes running the nation. Okay, who else are we going to put? Sustainable Australia. Well, that sounds nice, doesn't it? I don't know anything about them, but they sound terribly green. This is making me not scroll down very well. Animal Justice Party. Well, you probably don't care about the 100,000 Australians being killed every year. So a bunch of space cadets. TNL, Queensland Greens, same thing. Australian Democrats. Middle of the road people. Fusion Science, Pirate Secular Climate Emergency, more Marxists. Scientism, not science. Socialist Alliance, well, at least they admit it. Now I'm putting every single box here. Remember, this is how you vote against the Greens. TNL, the New Liberals, absolute hardcore Marxists. And finally, last and definitely least, the extreme Greens. All right, we are moving on. Okay, so now we have selected all of the candidates. We move on to the next step. Sharon Hall says, why not have I'm up there? Sharon, I just don't want to talk about the party's deservedness right now. This is a question. This is a video about the tool. It's just about the tool. You put it however you like. If you like, I'm put it right up there. I've got a great friend in IMOP, and I can say he would definitely be probably top of my ballot if I was in New South Wales. But that's not in the Senate. This is the Senate as well. And yeah, medical liberty is definitely the issue of the year. So this is probably their year if you're ever going to vote for them. So great. Penny Lamb says, great information. Thanks, Pen. All right. Okay, look, Missy Moo says the risk by numbering more than 12, I believe, when the AEC volunteers are counting the ballot, they're employees, not volunteers. Senate votes place them in the incorrect pile. My theory is to leave it at 12 as I'm still moving. Well, let me disagree. Don't do that. Do not leave it at 12. You are voting for the Greens. You are voting for the Greens. By not being in that decision right at the end, you are voting for the Greens. You have to use the system the way it works, not on speculative guesses. That something might go wrong in counting. And the way to solve that, Missy Moo, is volunteer for scrutineering. Turn up and help count the votes. Help make sure that people aren't making mistakes. This is terrible advice. And on this training video, I have to say, do not do that. Number every box. You are helping the Greens if you don't. Right. We've got some more comments. Heather says, well, there was some I refused to put a number next to. Sorry, I couldn't in all conscience, so I think I got to 31. Heather, thank you for doing as much as you can, but the theory is wrong. You're not endorsing 31 people. You're preferencing 31 people. That doesn't mean I prefer this to nobody. It means out of all the bad choices we've got, these are the least worst ones. And so by continuing to number, what you're actually saying is that these people are worse than those first 31. Not that I like these people. Think of it as a bunch of diseases that you have to choose from. You are going to get one. You are going to get one. You don't want to leave that decision to somebody else. You have to be in the conversation for as long as possible, all the way to the end. And this tool will make it nice and easy. Some diseases are worse than others. There are some you definitely want last. And greens is the disease we really do not want in our ballot. You're not endorsing them. Keep on going through all the way to the end. Vanessa Grant, late to the show. Right at the top, I said the reason we vote more than 12 is because the Greens designed the system hoping you will do as little as possible. And so this tool is to help make it simple to do as much as possible. When you do as much as possible, that gives the Greens your active vote against them by putting them right at last. In Victoria and Queensland, there are 79 candidates. Your Greens candidates need to be right in that bottom lot. Um, okay, so we're basically going to rearrange them. So I've got Liberal Democrat Party as my preferred favorite party for maximum freedom. You do you. But I know that their number two, Tegan Granger, aligns with my values, beliefs, and voting intentions in Parliament more than Campbell Newman. She is strongly pro-life all the way to fertilization. Campbell is semi-pro-abortion. He doesn't believe in mid or late-term abortions. Hates all the abortion laws that have been passed. That's fantastic. None of the heinous things that have been put up would have got past him. But he's still not strong enough on that issue for me. So I put Tegan above him. Now, George Christensen, I don't think there's a better candidate in Queensland. So I'm putting him up to number one. And see, all you do is you click and drag it just like that. Rebecca Lloyd has a better spiritual compatibility to me than Steve Dixon. Steve Dixon's a great man, believes a lot of the same things I do. But again, it's just for me personally, I know these two people, and between the two of them, I want Rebecca up a little bit higher. Now, that's just how easy it is. I don't need to continue going through and doing my how to vote card. You know what? Let me just make this one extra example. Here is James McGrath in the LNP bunch. There's 6 LNP candidates. James McGrath is going to get elected no matter what we do. But I want to vote against him because he's a moderate lefty progressive. He counted the heads for Malcolm Turnbull to throw Tony Abbott out of government. Did not help at all on the marriage vote. Did not help at all on freedom issues. Totally silent. Not a hard worker. He's in politics for the sport of it. So I'm going to put him just above Labor. Better than Labor, but not much else. And I'm going to put Amanda Stoker above Matt Canavan. I actually think Matt Canavan's better if it comes down to it, but Matt Canavan is going to get elected without our help also. And so I just want Amanda to have the best chance possible if it comes down to her and the Greens. And this is what we're doing. This is why we're numbering every box beneath the line on the Senate ballot, is because we want to be in that decision if it comes down to the best LNP candidates and the Greens candidates. That is something we want to vote against at every chance possible. I want to keep this video as short as possible. We're approaching 20 minutes already. Guys, this is the website, finder.com.au, Senate Voting Card Creator. Now, assuming you're going to take a little bit longer to go through all this and just drag and drop people how you want. Sorry, I'm scrolling heaps. There's no need to do that. Remember, you can just drag and drop people. Pauline Hanson doesn't need a high vote from you. She is going to get elected no matter what we do. It's probably going to, this is my prediction, in Queensland, 2 spots for LNP, 2 spots for Labor, 1 spot for Pauline Hanson, and the 6th spot is where the battle is going to be. Will it be Campbell Newman, Clive Palmer, or a Greens candidate, or possibly Amanda Stoker? That's really my prediction on the likely outcome. And dear God, I pray it's not the Greens that we're sending to Queensland. We need to get that disease out of our parliament. We want a strong Conservative crossbench. Amanda Stoker has not been loud and vocal as a cabinet minister, as a member of parliament, as a member of government. The discipline and rules on her are a lot stricter than on Matt Canavan, Jared Rennick, Alex Antic, people like them. But I tell you what, when she's not in government, when she's in opposition, she will be a fierce opposition to the destruction that an likely Albanese government will wreak on Australia. And so that is why she's a great person to put back in the Senate, definitely more than a Greens member. Again, you're not endorsing these people. Think of them all as a list of diseases. Sorry to all my friends in the Senate ballot. But what you do want to do is be the person who chooses what disease preferences you have. You want the least malign, the most benign, benevolent kind of disease. You want the cold. You want to sneeze. You don't want a compound fracture. Not that that's a disease, it's an injury. But take my point. This isn't a list of endorsements. Don't be emotional about it. You are here to choose out of a given number of people. And if you're not part of that conversation, somebody else will decide your disease for you. You have to be in that conversation. It's not an endorsement. Do not favor the Greens. All right, we're going to finish up here with a couple more comments. Judy B says, this tool only for above the line. No, Judy, this tool is only for below the line, only for below the line. However, in the previous step, before you go on, you can just grab a screenshot of it and use it for above the line. That's what I did to help my parents. They didn't want to do below the line. And so if you do that above the line, then you just grab a screenshot. You can print it out or take a photo of it with your camera on your phone and just take that into the polling place. Good idea to use a pen. I forgot to. Don't stress about it, but it's just another prevention tool. All right, I think that's it, everybody. Well, Diane McKinney-Smith says website won't open, says to download the app. You're on your computer. Well, I'm on my computer showing it to you, so it is working. So maybe try a different browser or a different computer. And yes, this is recorded and will be shareable as soon as it's finished. Charles O says, thanks, Dave. Thank you, Charles. You're a handsome man and a great cameraman. One of our volunteers here. Awesome. Well, thank you very much, everyone. That's 21 minutes. Sorry it took so long. Meant to be a short video, but look, this is the place to go. finder.com.au/Senate voting card creator with a dash between each of those words. Senate voting card creator. And that's how you can number every box beneath the line, have fun doing it, make it nice and easy and simple. And don't let anybody tell you who is the best person. Don't let me tell you. Don't let anybody tell you who to vote for. I'm happy to give you that tips and research, but really by now we should have all done that ourselves. And guys, this isn't training for this election. This is training for the next 20 elections, because we need to be better, smarter, more interested, more involved voters. I've been saying it for 6 years, and in the last 2 years, a lot of people have figured out, even if you're not interested in politics, politics is interested in you. The only way to fix this in the long term is to be interested and involved in the long term. So whatever happens, don't just be thinking about yourself. Don't just be thinking about this election, but be thinking about the best outcomes possible beyond the horizon that we can see, beyond the next 3 elections. What do we need to send? What message do we need to send? That we won't be taken for granted, that freedom is not negotiable, that roads and trees and other things aren't as important as these non-negotiable fundamentals, the unalienable human rights of us all, I would suggest is the biggest issue for most people who think like me in this election. My name's Dave Pellowe. Thank you very much for watching. Little plug, if you would like to share this video, that would be awesome. You can do that right now wherever you're watching, on YouTube or Facebook. Visit goodsource.news for more articles, videos, information, interviews that will help your research. And if you would like to partner with us, I thank you very much if you're a Good Source partner already. But I have been doing this for 6 years, and I'd like to be doing this for another 60 years, as well as building a team. We've got a great vision on how to make voters smarter and redeem the culture in this nation so that we can prevent bad government and promote good government. Head to goodsource.news, click on the support button, and I would love to be able to count you as one of our partners for a small or big amount every month. And again, thank you very much to the Good Source supporters. That's it for this episode. I hope that's been super helpful to you. And I will see you. Oh, look, don't forget. I actually must put this up. Big news. We've got an amazing lineup on Saturday night. Just huge. Make sure you are watching the Good Source election coverage on Saturday night. Freedom Speaks. Just so many people. We've got Topher Field, Jared Rennick, Alex Antic, Campbell Newman, George Christensen in the studio here with us. John Humphreys, founder of the Liberal Democrats. We've got lots more people. Gideon Rosner from the IPA. We've even got a rightish wing Labor person coming on. It's going to be a fantastic show. I haven't even named half the people that are coming on Saturday night, 6 p.m. We're going to be watching the vote. We're going to be especially focusing on the freedom candidates, the coverage that you're not going to get on the mainstream media. We're going to be focusing on the freedom candidates and the crossbench and the likely seats to form government. So, yeah, that'll be fantastic. Need to see you there, of course. And that's it for this episode. Bye-bye.
Today, we need a special kind of courage. Not the kind needed in battle, but a kind which makes us stand up for everything that we know is right, everything that is true and honest. We need the kind of courage that can withstand the subtle corruption of the cynics, so that we can show the world that we are not afraid of the future.